Well, welcome to Sunday Night Spins here at 35-1 Roulette Cruisin. Sure glad you joined us here on this Sunday night. Let's see who we got on here watching with us tonight. All right, so Dr. S is on here. Says happy Sunday. 30-Day Gambler's on here. Happy Sunday. Let's see, Lee's on here. Hope everyone fared well with the storms if you were in the path. Let's see, we're almost done here in North Carolina. Fingers crossed we keep power. All right, good luck to you. Andrew's on here. Hey, Eric. And let's see. Everything good. Make sure everybody can see me. Everybody can hear me. Let's see. Roulette Loser's on here. All right, because I had a major issue this week. Actually, it was last week. My program crashed on my computer, and I've been fighting it for like 6 or 7 days now, just trying to get everything back going. So hopefully everything's okay. It's pretty hard when you set a streaming. I'm using OBS. I don't know how many of you stream, but OBS is what I'm using. And for some reason, this Mac decided it didn't want to work with it. And so I had to take it off, reload it. So it had to remember where all my settings were and all that, try to load everything back in there. So anyway, so that's my problem, not yours. Mike, I sure appreciate the $1 there. All right, I do have something I do want to ask you guys. Dr. S, thanks, I received the chip. All right, Dr. S got his chip. Mike says, hey guys, Randall's on here. Howdy from cold Texas. All right. We hadn't got any cold weather yet here in Florida where I'm at. So let's see, you're all good. All right, thanks, 30-Day Gambler. Appreciate it. James says all good. Mike, I appreciate the $1. That's what I used to be, yeah. So I got to figure out a different streaming software. OBS is too freaking aggravating. I'm no computer programmer, I can tell you that. Stelly, I wish I could stick around and watch, but it's Championship Sunday. All right, well, good luck to your team. Appreciate you dropping in and saying hey. All right, are you skipping the Super Sunday spin? I mean, as far as at the end of the night, I'm going to still do it, but that's what I want to talk about with you guys. Patty's on here. Happy Sunday. Came home to Chicago off Utopia to below 0 temperatures. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed your trip while you were down here. I know you asked before you went down, was it going to be cold? So hopefully the advice I gave you, just to layer up and you should be perfectly fine. Hopefully that worked out for you. I know it was much warmer than Chicago, I can tell you that. Let's see, 30-Day Loser. Let's get some likes for Eric's folk. Okay, so yeah, y'all hit that like button. Appreciate it, Roulette Loser. Ryan's on here. What's up, Eric? Stopped in to say what's up. At work tonight. Can't stay. I'll watch it after work. All right. Well, we're going to talk about something tonight because one issue I'm running into is the channel's growing so much and we're having so many people watching and all the way to the end, and we're participating in the last spin one-hit wonder. Randall received his shirt. I think he got his shirt yesterday. I wish I could get a picture. I'll try to get a picture from Randall so we can show it on here. Maybe no Sunday Night Spins next Sunday. Okay, so it'll be the following Sunday. And then maybe I can show you guys what Randall got, or maybe you might see him on a cruise. You never know, wearing that shirt. But one thing I kind of thought about doing was either one, if you go on YouTube, you look down at the bottom. Out down here where you do your chat, you can do a super sticker or a super chat. Okay, so my thought was, see, these chips cost about $2. Okay, and then the shipping, is another $1 or so. So you got $3 or so into the process for sending you guys a chip. But my thought was, hey, if any point during the live spins, if you guys wanted to drop in a super chat for let's say $4.99, okay? $4.99, YouTube keeps about 40% of everything that you give, okay? So that's how YouTube works. But if at any point during the night you wanted to give me a $4.99 super chat, throw your, one-hit wonder strategy in there for 20 chips now. But in order to win the chip, you have to double your money, okay? So you start with $20 essentially, and if you can win, then you'll get a chip shipped to you, but you have to double your money. So you can't just scatter them around and get one thing to hit and you get a win. You have to double your money with it. So tell me your thoughts on that. What do you think about doing something like that? I know I hate coming on here and asking for money. All right, but with the participation that we have is over my limit of 10 people. So, you know, just trying to figure out some way to get more of these chips out to you guys, but also in a cost-effective way. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense for you guys. All right, so let's see. Anything else going on? I like your thinking. All right, James keyed in. Sounds good to me. Okay, so, you know, if you guys want to do that, hey, if somebody wants to do a $4.99 super chat, do the super chat, put your comment in there. I'll see it. We'll go ahead, we'll stop what we're doing. We'll go ahead and do that spin for you and call it a one-hit wonder, because there's so many times we're at the table on the ship or any other casino and somebody walks up and they throw a $100 chip or something down on red, on black, you know, something like that. So let's treat it like that. All right, let's see if you can win a chip with your $4.99 super chat. All right, that's just an idea. So whether you guys do it or not, I don't know. We'll still do the last spin one-hit wonder at the end, but this will give you an opportunity to participate and at least possibly win a chip. But if you lose, you lose. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do tonight? So, let's see. So I ran the Comp Force 90 the other night, and got cords all over the place. Comp Force 90 the other night with Point Pusher at the same time. So kind of a battle between the two. Again, I think I've done that before, and it went 50 spins. And I actually ran it with the new one, the Triple P. So I switched it over from the Point Pusher to the Triple P and ran it, and then it went 50 spins again. So it's not bad. Neither one of them's a bad strategy. So it's just according to you guys. If you want me to run something out in particular that you guys want to see, I do have a cruise coming up next weekend. I'll be on Utopia on the 30th. You know, just a weekend cruise. So let's go ahead. Let's buy in for, let's see, hold on. We got 30-day gambler. So, or $1 for last hit wonder. Since it's costing you $5 for the chip with mailing it. You know, I thought about doing that 30-day, but I hate to charge you guys. They do have the $1. You can do a super, I'm looking at my phone here, so super stickers. Let's see, you got a 99-cent super sticker, okay? So, you know, we could do something like that, but again, I don't want to rush off into charging you guys to come hang out with me. I want you guys to participate as much as possible, but when it gets to the end, I hate leaving somebody out. But I've got to find some way to get that under control just a little bit. And let's see, Patty says, I tried Comp Force 90 on Utopia and did terrible with it. Okay, all right, so Patty has ran it and did terrible with it. We've had Aaron has run it and got like 700 spins off of it. All right, so what are we going to do here? Do we want to run? We're just going to do Comp Force 90. So what was it? It's $30, $20, $20, 10, and 10 again, okay? So I need to get this stuff out of my way here. See if I can knock something down back here behind me. All right, so again, we got $30, 20, 20, 10, and 10. Readjust my seat here. Let's see. Run something with a $100 to $150 average. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. Let's see if we can survive 10 spins right here with the Comp Force 90. And just kind of get us started. Let's get us some points in our pocket real quick and see how it goes. And I can bump this up to $180. But I'm not sure if we need to do that. But let's try this. So that is a $40 profit right there. All right, so there is $40 profit right there. Let's say if we get into profit, we'll go ahead and bump it up to 180. How about that? Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, cash on the table, your C-Pass card, they scan it, give it back to you. That's how you get your points on the cruise. Let's see, so 30-day says, since I'm home with the SO, I ran Comp Force 90 for 20, okay. Let's see, spins over 10 sessions and I'm down 11 units. Stelly says, random question, what microphone are you using? I'm using whatever this, let's see, Hollyland. I think it's a Hollyland mic. Something off of YouTube. I seem to like it. It seems to work out fairly well. All right, that's a, I think it's a $10 profit right there. Yes, that is a $10 profit. Okay, so we're going to bring that right here. All right, it seems to be, I don't know, this mic just seems to be the one that seemed to work fairly well. I had a cheaper one that I bought that seemed like it scratched out all the time. This one does it every once in a while, but I'm not sure why. Let's see, 31. Okay, that's another $10 profit right there. So let's confirm that. I know all these black numbers over here. Oh, that stayed there. Right there. Lose that, lose that. And that's a $10 profit. I already put it there. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, just making sure. I don't want to pay myself wrong and then somebody come back later and be like, yeah, you paid yourself $10 too much. Let's see, he says, I played online with a live automatic roulette, 20 spin session, 3 bullets per session. Okay. All right, we're at $85 right now. All right, 9, that's a push. See if we can get one more. If we can get one more win, then we can bump it up to 180. All right, 2. There it is. All right, so that is a $40 profit. All right, so there is 75, 80, 85, 90. Oh, I only had like 60 bucks, not 80. All right, so there we go. So there's a $90 right there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to double it up. Then we have profit right here. We're going to bump it up to 60, 40, 40, 20, 20. Okay? 30 days says, if I had a positive walkaway instead of 20 spin session, I'd most likely be up money. Okay? Did I move that? I don't know if I did. I probably missed one. All right, so now we're at 180 for the average. Let's just see if we can make some profit with it. So that should be an $80 profit right there. So let's pay it out. Let's make sure. I don't want to, again, do my payouts wrong. Okay, there's that. And here is the 20 down there. So now we're going to bring it all back. $50, there's $60 right there. All right, there is our profit. That's 75, there's $80. So it is an $80 profit now. So now we have $80 profit and actually $10 left from that earlier profit. So now, even if we lose this 180, we are going to be even, or actually, we're up. So even if we lose that 180, we still have our original bullet right here. Another good ball game going on. Who are you rooting for? Who's playing? I really don't keep up with football. All right, so that should be 20 bucks. I may watch some, when it gets down to the Super Bowl or something like that, but not that I dislike football. I mean, I grew up playing football. I like college football, but, I just can't dive off into it. I really can't. All right, 23. All right, that's a loss. All right, so we're going to go right here. We're going to lose all that. That's a bad one. So now we just lost all that profit right there. So we're going to drop it back down to our original bet. 20, 20, 10, 10. And there is 20. Here is $30 right there. Now, I'm just playing the black side. And I'm going to keep my stack separate. So I'm going to say this was a $90 stack. This is the 80 or 180 stack. So we went 3 spins at 180, but it really doesn't matter much unless the pit boss comes by and catches you at 180. And that's highly possible. And 21. That's a good thing we probably reduced right there, because that is another bad one. That loses $60 right there. All right, we're going to reset. This time we're going to switch sides. All right, so now we're going to go, basically we're going to switch over to red. Because we've run black for several spins there. That's 10 spins running the black side. Now we're going to switch over and run the red side for a little bit. All right, the Seahawks and the Rams are playing now. The Patriots won the AFC. All right, 17. And of course we would switch, and that would have been a good win right there. So we lose this, we lose this, we lose this, and we lose right there. That's a win right there. Lord have mercy. That's 4, there's 15, 15, there's 30. Okay, so now we're set again, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10. And we are right there. Yeah, I like the Rams. I mean, Matthew Stafford's pretty good. You know, he seems like a good guy too. That's one thing, but he's definitely a good quarterback. All right, 3. Well, that's not as good of a win. That's I think a $10 win, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to say $10. Bring it back to our rack. Yeah, I've never really been into pro ball. Really haven't. All right, 5. There we go. That should be a $40 profit right there. And I think it's because, you know, where I grew up, there, you know, wasn't really any pro teams anywhere close by. So never really got connected to a team, I guess. I do live in Florida, but I grew up in the panhandle of Florida. Not exactly, you know, probably if any team, it was probably the Falcons or something that might have followed a little bit at one time. Let's see, does changing the amount mess with your points, or do you just assume that you'll get 90? I'm just assuming we're probably going to run with 90 points, just because we're only going to go $90, and then if we get in the profit, we'll bump it up to 180, and then it's just a matter of if the pit boss comes by and catches it at that 180. So the pit boss determines your points, determines your rating. You know, so while you're playing, they come by, they count your chips on the table. They have a tablet or whatever, and they enter your bet amount in. That sets your average, and then that should be a push. And then as long as they keep up with it, if they come by regular enough, you can bump it up high. Hopefully they'll catch it, and then when they walk away, drop it back down to the 90. And then maybe you can get, you know, 5 or 10 spins out of it at the $90 level, but being rated at the 180. I have tried to do that several times, and it has worked out. All right, so that there is going to be another push. I wish it was like real time. I wish they knew. But, you know, so many people ask, well, how do they keep up with it? Well, the marker or the dolly, there's a spot on the table that lights up. And so they keep that in that spot. They spin the ball. When it lands, they pick it up, they move it to the number. And then, so that's a push there. So we're going to say, okay, we pushed right there. Then they take it, they put it back. So that cycle of taking it off and putting it back on is one spin. And that's how they keep up with how many spins you're at the table, which is why I'm always telling everybody, keep track of your spins. It doesn't matter how long you've been sitting there. It's how many times that moves. All right, so keep that in mind whenever you're playing. All right, 19. All right, so that's a good one. That is a $40 profit. Okay, what we got here? Big day motivations on here. All right, so that's a $40 profit. All right, so there we go. We are $90 profit right now. Riding steady with it. Let's see. Let's see if we can get us 3 more spins. That'll be 20 spins there. Let's see, I'm here, but out in the ice. Uh-oh. Let's see, increased by double, not doubled. Okay, next 16. Okay, so what happens here? I think that's a little bit of a loss. So we lose that, there, we lose that, and right there. So we lose 20 bucks right there. Seems like if you hit a red, that would be a profit, but it's not. That's that 6 number section there that's kind of a danger zone. Yeah, so, you know, as far as the ratings go, there's always an argument because, you know, if you feel like you didn't get rated well and you go to them after the session's over, they just say, well, you were there for like 30 minutes, right, or an hour. You need to play longer. Well, I might have been there for 30 minutes or an hour, but I could have had 40 spins during that session, and I kind of know what my average is and know what I should have received. But sometimes it's just an argument. I don't know why. I don't know why they want to argue with you all the time. Let's see what that is. Right there, that is a $10 profit. And I don't think it's right for them to tell you that you need to be playing more and playing longer. You know, I mean, that's just, I don't know, I feel that's kind of reckless in my opinion. But, you know, hey, if you're gambling, you are being a little reckless. Let's see. Big Day says, what's this strategy? All right, this is Comp Force 90. We just switched over to the red side. We went about 10 spins with it on black. We switched it over, now we're running red. Let's just see if we can get something going. All right, so that's a push right there. So any of the blacks in these 2 columns here and from here down here, all the blacks are going to be push. So, and all the reds in that same section will be a $40 profit. Ooh, I thought it was about to get us. All right, that should be a $10, I guess a $10 profit right there. Sounds good, okay. All right, this is spin 20. And we've been running at $90 average. We did bump it up to 180 just because we got into profit that far. But we haven't really gotten that much into profit again. All right, 11. Okay, so that is going to be a push. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and rack it. All right, and let's see what we finished here with. All right, so we started with $500 was our buy-in. And 75, 80, 85, 90. All right, so now we finished with a $90 profit. So let's see, our $500 buy-in finished with $590. It's a profit of $90, and we went 20 spins with it. Our average was $90, so we're just going to say $90 average. So we should have earned 180 points during that session there. All right, so 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to say 75, 590. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, anybody got anything they want me to run? You want me to test anything out real quick? And again, remind you guys, if you guys want to do a, oh, here we go. Lee did something for us. All right, here we go. We got somebody to chime in to do a one-hit wonder spin. And if you're new here and you're wondering what's going on, Lee just did a $4.99 one-hit wonder spin. So we're going to see if Lee can win this chip. Now the rule is with the one-hit wonder spin, you have to double your money. All right? So let's see what we got here. So let's make it easy to see. Let's go with whites. All right, we're going to use whites here, Lee. All right, so Lee is our first participant with the one-hit wonder spin. All right, we have 20 chips to work with. That's pretty much $20. There's no minimum anywhere on the table. The key is you have to double your money. Okay? So let's see what Lee's got here. He says half on second column. All right, so that's going to be 10 chips on the second column. And we got half on 16-17 street. All right, there we go. So we have 10 chips on 16 to 18 street. We have 10 chips on the middle column there. And here we go. So Lee has walked up to the table. He's doing a one-hit wonder spin to win a free chip. So Lee, make sure to email me if you win, roulettecruisin@gmail.com. Make sure to send me your name, your address, and your screen name so I know that I got the right person. All right, we're going to get you noted here. And let's see what happens. All right, here we go. It is an 8. All right, let's see what we got with it here, Lee. Uh-oh. We did not increase our... I shouldn't have used whites. I have to spread your colors out. I should have used greens or something like that instead. All right, Lee. So we finished with $30. All right, so you did win, but we didn't double our money. All right, so if you need me to change that rule, if you think that's a bad rule, you let me know. Give me some ideas of how to go from here. But Lee, sorry, you didn't double your money, but you did walk away from the table profitable. But I do appreciate you throwing it in there. So you guys, now that Lee has done this, respond. Let me know, do you think it was a bad idea? Do you think we should continue to do this? I planned that wrong. It's okay. All right, well, Lee, I do appreciate you doing that. It's something new that I'm trying here. You know, just trying to fill this out and see if we can get something going with it. All right. So, but Lee, if you want to do it again, we'll drop it down to $1.99. But you did give me something earlier, didn't you? No, that was Mike gave something earlier. All right. So you guys just keep giving me some input on this and tell me a direction to go. And I sure do appreciate Lee throwing it in there and giving it a spin. Let's see how it goes. All right. Let's see what we're going to do now. Somebody had asked earlier, I guess somebody had messaged me asking about the 6-2 strategy. You know, kind of running it, but running it at a higher level. So let's do that. I don't know if you guys have seen the 6-2 in a while or not. So let's see. So we're going to, all right, so there we go. So there it is, $500. Remember, cash on the table, your CPAS card, they scan it, give it back to you. That's how you get your points on the cruise, okay? All right, so here we go. So we got $500 in red chips. All right. So the setup for the 6-2 strategy, I know you guys have seen this. All right, we're going to make 3 stacks of 6 here. And we're going to make 2 more stacks of 6. All right, so a total of 5 stacks of 6. I know this is a lot of money on the table. All right, so, and we're going to go 2, 2, and 2. So that's $10 on each of those. 10, 10, and 10 right there. So 30, 30, 30, that's 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, $150. All right, so $150 on the table. So here is a $150 strategy. I think Stelly asked for this a little earlier, wanting to run one that's $100 to $150. So here's a $150 strategy here. This is one that I started playing early. It was actually reduced. It was like a 4-1 is what I started with, but you guys have kind of helped, you know, mold this a little bit or help me recreate it a little to make it a little more profitable. So anywhere that's bet right now is a profit of 6 chips. Okay, so there we go. So that hits there. So that is a profit of 6 chips. I'm not going to rake the table because I know it's a profit of 6 chips. So we're going to go right there. Now with these 6 chips here, what I could do is increase each of these by 2 chips, or I could increase the splits by 1 chip each. Okay, I feel like it's better, it's more profitable to put them on the splits because they pay more. All right, but we're going to put them on these double streets here and see if we can get a hit on that, because you've got 18 numbers compared to 12 numbers. Okay, so your odds are a little bit better to hit one of the 18 than it is to hit one of the 12, but hey, it's every spin is a different spin, right? All right, so 27 and complete bust. Okay, so this is where this one can get you in trouble, but you know, hey, as whatever strategy, they all fall apart at some point. So we're going to go back to the original. 6 on all those. All right, here we go. I gotta text somebody. All right, here we go. All right, 32. Okay, so there's a 6 chip profit right there. All right, so there's that. So let's try it again. Let's go out here on these splits this time. I'm gonna increase those to 3 chips each. And Lee says, so the bust numbers are 0, 00, 10, and 27. Okay, 10, 0, 00, you've got 9, 10, 15, 22, 27, 28. Okay, those are all your bust numbers. Now that we've pointed them out, that'll probably be what bust us here. All right, that's fine. We hit on that split there. Perfect. That's fine. All right. All right, so that is going to pay, should pay 51. But we're going to make 3 stacks of 17 here because, you know, sometimes my math messes me up, but I know 1 chip pays 17 to 1, so we're going to do it that way. So we recovered almost everything that we had lost. Now we're just going to drop back down to 6 chips on all those, 2 chips on these splits here. All right, there we go. Bring all that back to our rack. All right, so here we are. All right, we're down 30 bucks right now. Okay. But this system here, it has a chance to be profitable, but what I've learned while playing it is you get down, you come back up. You get down, you come back up. So it kind of fluctuates back and forth, and you kind of stay in that same area most of the time. All right, so there is that $30 win right there. So let's see, let's take 2, 2, and 2. But if you're playing this with dollar chips, it's a pretty cheap strategy to play. You got a lot of coverage, but what people have pointed out is essentially we're playing 5 double streets. That's the same bet that we're playing right now. All right, there we go. So it worked out. So bumping those up. So that's going to pay 5 to 1 there. So let's pay that out. And let's see here. Oh, one more. All right, so there they are. So then we drop all these back down to 6 chips each. So we're just going to fluctuate. We're going to go back and forth from the 6-2, which is, you know, what we have on the table. The 6-2 is 6-2. That's why it's called that. So on that cycle, a profit of 75, 80, 85, 90. So a profit of $90 for that cycle to have them, you know, have it hit twice, essentially, is what we're going for. So now we're in profit just a little bit, because I've got everything $410. I've got 150, so $160. So we're $60 in profit right now. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little more. All right, so there we go. So 25. All right, that is a 6-chip profit right there. Now, let's say make decision. Bump these two, them 3 right there, up 2 chips each. All right, if you're watching and you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure to hit that like button for me. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. And, you know, trying something. All right, 4. Okay, perfect. Let's see what we profited again. Should be another $90 profit. So that's 4. So that's going to pay 5 to 1. All right, so there's your 5 to 1. All right, so that is going to be, take all these back down to $30 each. 2, 2, and 2. 2, 2, and 2. There's our profit. For that cycle again, another $90 profit. For that cycle, now we're in profit $150. Good morning from Ambient Mopar. Button, what? Good morning, like button presses. Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions about anything? All right, 18. All right, there's that 6-chip profit again. Okay, now we could just bring those 6 chips back to our rack and just kind of keep adding those 6 chips, but I always like to press them to give it a chance to make a little bit more money. Now we've hit a bunch of double streets, so let's press up our splits here. Let's get something off of those. All right, so let's see. Thoughts on Ploppy 3-2? This is Yank is asking this. He's asking about thoughts on Ploppy 3-2. All right, so that is a push. All right, because we would lose everything, and because we put those 6 chips out there, that's a push. Now, if we had pressed up those double streets, we would have been $90 profit. But, you know, hey, that's why we run what we run. I got to remember what Ploppy 3-2 is. I know I've run it. But, you know, a lot of times I run these strategies and I don't hardly see them again after that. Oh, gosh. 0. Well, we knew one was coming. You know, we should have switched over to a strategy that covered those zeros. But, you know, when you're doing so good, you don't want to change it up. All right, so, but that's fine. We are even right now. So how many spins? We've gone 10 spins with it. Let's pull the plug. All right, we're going to pull the plug on that one. But that is the 6-2 strategy, ran at $150. Let's see, we're cashing out with 500. We're in for 500. We had no win, no loss. We went 10 spins with it. Our average was 150. 10 spins, we should get 150 points. All right. So $500 back to our bankroll there. All right. What else we got going on? All right, let's see what happens here. So Yank says 3 units on black and 2 on the 3rd column. Okay. All right. Hey, let's run it. Let's run it. What else? What else have we got to do here? All right, we're gonna buy in for, let's buy in for $300 with it. Big day. How about 2 dozens with 3 on the hot and cold dozen, and 1 unit on. Okay, let's try this. Let's do what Yank wants real quick. So we're gonna buy in for 300 real quick. We're gonna give 10 spins to this. All right. So there's 300. For some reason, I have a feeling it's not gonna work out well, but hey, this might be the best thing ever. All right. So here we go. So 3 units on black, 3 units on black, 2 units on third column. Okay. All right, so we don't have a very high average with this one. We're at $25. What do we do after a loss? He types faster than I do. Yeah. He came in ready to go. Andrew, same type of play as 3 units, 1 to 18, and 2 units third dozen. 3 units on 1 to 18. Yeah. Yep. All right, 8. All right, so that is a $5 profit. Okay, so we got $5 profit right here. All right, second spin. Second spin. Let's see, can we play them all at the same time? How about that? How about 2 dozens with 3 on, 2 dozens with 3 on the hot and cold dozen? All right, so that is 23, so that is a $25 loss. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. A 3-2. Let's see, let's do them all. Which I don't know if I can keep up with what dozens were hot and which is cold. Yeah, without writing it all down, it was kind of hard to keep up with. All right, 24. All right, finally, we got a double hit there. So there and there and there. All right, so that's that $25 profit back. That's $35. All right. All right, we're 4 spins into it. I almost think you should martingale this strategy. What do you guys think? It's $25. I almost think Dr. S is on here. Dr. S, should we ladder this up, or what should we do on a loss? What's your thoughts? Like, how can you improve a strategy like this? This is simple enough. Your average isn't very high, but it's easy to set out. It's just kind of like, do you just flat bet it the entire time? Or do we chase the loss or press on the win? Let's see. Data TikTok says it's different because the Ploppy 3, Dr. S says always ladder. Dr. S brings a ladder every time he goes to the casino. All right, 6. Okay, so there's that big profit right there. So we got 3 chips profit there. So 10, 20, there's 30, $35 profit on 1 hit. So now it's a question, should you press those? Let's see, Lee says, without memorizing the wheel, what an easy way to remember the sides for the yin and yang strategy. Is there a pattern? Oh, all right. We'll dive into that next, Lee. Glad you asked. We ain't played it in a couple of weeks. All right, 23. Okay, so that's a complete loss. All right. Should we ladder right now? So 3, let's bump it up. We're going to go $30. And we're going to go $20 on that third column. All right, now we've doubled up, so we've martingaled it. whether we just go up 1 unit or if we martingale it. You know, I guess that's where the we come up with an idea of what to do from here. All right, 7. Yeah, that didn't work. All right. Let's just go up 1 unit each. 3, 3, 3. And we got 10, 10, and 10. So now we're just going to go up $30 there, $45 right here. I almost feel like we'd almost be better off betting the middle. I mean, I know over there it's helping with the insurance on some reds. I know that's why it's over there. The reason it's over there is because it helps you be profitable if it hits a red over there. That's exactly what this one's doing. All right. All right, we're going to leave it at that level right there. 45 and 30. Hoping we can get one on that far side. Kind of like we've gotten in a hole, now it's trying to dig out of it. $28. Okay. All right, so that right there. All right, so with that one, let's go ahead and drop it down to 30. 30 and 20. So 20 there, 30 here. Be hard to keep up with your average with this one and your ratings for sure. So I don't think you would play it with the intention of you know, any comps, to be honest. You'd have to stay there way too long to get any comps off of it. All right, there is that. So 20, let's go ahead and reduce it down. So 15 and 10. All right, we're back to even. All right, that's been 10 spins. There is a pattern for yin and yang. Yeah, bet 1 and 2 12s. Okay. All right. But let's just see how this last spin right here goes. All right, 18. Okay. That is a 1 chip profit. All right, so we've gone 11 spins with that. So let's pull the plug. So we've started with $300. So there is $330. So we're in profit $30. We went 10 spins with it. Okay, but the thing is, just the average isn't high enough. So we bought in for 300. We're out for 330. We went 10 spins. We're at a $25 average. So we only earned 25 points during that session there. Okay, so not a lot of points on that. Okay, but, you know, hey, we did finish in profit. Just a little bit. Well, let's keep that right there. So put that $30 there, right there. All right. There we go. Okay, so let's see. I was thinking about 150 on black and 100 on the third column. Oh, Lord. Yeah. I don't have that kind of money. I don't play with that kind of money. All right, 30 days says, I'm sure Eric can show it. Okay, yeah. All right, so here we go. So let's see. So who was asking? Trying to see. All right, so Lee's wondering what the yin and yang pattern is. So let's show that real quick. All right, we're going to play with $2 chips on this one. Okay, so we're going to buy in for $200. And of course, you don't play this one expecting to make any comps off of it. I never really make any comps off of it. I just try to see if I can make a quick, you know, $50 or something like that. So $200 buy-in. And it hit on the left side of the wheel. So it landed on the left side. So the way to remember the wheel, right side, you start right here in the center. The right side is all the black numbers, okay? And the left side would be all the red numbers, okay? So right side, get all the blacks in the middle, and then we leave out of there. Basically, you put a diamond down here and a diamond right there, okay? Now, if you finish the whole pattern out, that's what the right side of the wheel coverage looks like, okay? There is a pattern to it. So you have an X here in the middle, and then it pretty well X's out, okay? So that is the left side. Now, with the right side, it's just the opposite, or the left side. You start here in the center, that's the left side, and then you leave out of there, X pattern out of there, and that is the left side of the wheel. Okay, so when I play left side, when I play either side, I take 4 chips out. All right, so I only bet 14 numbers on either the left side or the right side. I never bet 18. I mean, it's safer to bet the 18. And you could add the zeros if you wanted to, so you could do a split down there. You could play 19 chips if you want to, but I never play it that way because you might as well play red or black. I feel like this is better. If it does hit, you actually make a little more profit. It's better than 50%, obviously. So anyway, so I spun the wheel. I haven't looked at the wheel yet to see. So I was going to bet right side. Okay, so that would be what I'd have bet right now. The wheel spun. All right, I landed on 2. Okay, so I lost all that. All right, but that is a left side number, so I think it's going to go right. I think it's going to switch sides. So here we go. And all right, there's our 14 numbers on the right side. Let's try it and see what happens. All right, Lee's on here. So Lee Hook, okay, he says, hey folks. All right, everybody got the, hit the like button for me. Make sure to not leave here without hitting that like button. All right, there we go, we hit the 5. All right, and normally what I do when I'm playing with $2 chips, because you got $2 on there, so that's gonna pay $70. Normally what I do is tell the dealer, let me have 2 green, 10 color. There's $70 right there. Bring that 2 greens back to our rack. How many spins have we gone? Is that 2? Okay. All right, now I'm just going to reset. I think it's going to stay on the right side. No, I think we're going to switch left. All right, I know you guys have seen this 100 times, and it's like, great, he's doing this one again. But this is my walk-up strategy. I'll walk up, buy in. I usually buy in for like $100, and you only have a couple of bullets. If you have 3, if you get 1 win, you got 4 bullets at least. Doing it that way. All right, there we go. We got a win on 19 there. All right, again, dealer. We have 2 green, 10 color. $70 right there. So now we are in profit. So at this point, I could walk away, and let's see, we would be up 50 or 60 bucks right now. Okay, so we could walk away if we wanted to, or hey, we got money. Let's go right side here. And usually what I do when I run something like this, I'll go up and run the table like this. I'll try to make that extra $50, and then I'll go, go over to the craps table and buy in for 50 bucks and just see if I can make something happen with it. Play craps for fun. I play roulette for my points. All right, and let's see, we're going to stick with the right side. How many spins have we gone? Not enough. Let's see, 4 or 5 spins. All right. Okay, now 2 and 3rd 12s. Okay, Okay, you can use modified Fibonacci with 14 numbers. All right, that's from Randall. All right, Seattle won the game. So Seattle is headed to the Super Bowl. All right, 15. All right, dealer, let me have 2 green and 10 color. All right, how long have we been on here? Right at an hour. All right, so there it is. So that is the yin and yang. Only went 5 spins, so that's my walk-up strategy that I like to play, just to kind of see if I can just make a little profit off of it. And, you know, buying for $100, you get 3-4 bullets. Okay, so let's see. So 40, 80, 120. Okay, there is 100. So $150 in green chips. So 150 plus 120 is 270. 276. So we're up $76. All right, so I made a profit of $76 with that one. All right, not a huge profit, but it is a little bit of profit. All right, so we're going to take 75 back to our rack there. All right, so that is pretty much all we're going to be able to run tonight. And remember, I won't be on here next week. I'll be on a cruise ship and won't be able to go live for you guys. So let's see here. So we bought in for $200, out for $275. Let's see, we went 5 spins with it. Our average was only the 28 bucks. So we got, let's just say 25 points. We'll say 25, just to make it easy. All right, there we have it. So Dr. S says, thanks for the live, Eric. Good luck in your cruise. Okay, thanks, Dr. S. All right, here we go. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do the last spin one-hit wonder tonight. And again, this is something I'm trying to work through, trying to figure this out, how to continue on. All right, so Randall's got his in early. All right, so you guys go ahead and get in your last spin one-hit wonder. And the way it works is you chat in, you tell me where you want to place 20 chips. There is no minimum bet anywhere. And it doesn't matter if you double your money or not. It's just who wins during the spin, okay? That's how we're going to play it. So you tell me where to place 20 chips. And the first 10 people that can get in here in the chat are the ones that get to play. So let me add up our points and our cash here, see what we finished with for the night, and see if we made profit, see if we made some good points. All right, we started with $1,500, so that's $1,500. So 100, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. So $195 profit. So $195. We finished with 380 points for tonight. Okay, in the 4 sessions we went. All right, so that's where we're at. All right, let's get all this cleaned up here. And let's get her going. So for the last spin one-hit wonder, we're playing for a chip. So you guys, Lee bought in earlier, and Lee Razor bought in. He did a $4.99 one-hit wonder. He didn't win. So let me know if there's anything I need to do to change that. Any ideas you guys might have, just throw them in the comments. Come back in after the live is finished. So that way I can see them, because once the live is finished, they just disappear. All right, so who we got first? Let me get my phone here, because that way I can see right here without having to lean over the table. All right, so Randall. So Randall is the first one in. So here we go. Randall finally got his stuff to come through. Randall was our 2025 one-hit wonder winner, and he won a t-shirt. So I sent him a t-shirt. He just got it yesterday. All right, so he says 10 chips. 10 chips on 7-11 corner. Okay, and 10 chips on 8-12 corner. All right, Randall, you're set. All right, so 30 day, have a great cruise. David's in here. So David, let's see, David Hefner. Okay. All right, remember, you got to email me after you win. Let me know your name, your address, and your screen name so I can be sure to send it to the right person to roulettecruisin@gmail.com. roulettecruisin@gmail.com. It's in the description. All right, so here we go. So David, bet first and third 12s, 10 each. Okay, first and third 12, 10 each. Got you. All right, David, you're orange. All right, Lee Razor, here we go. Maybe you can get it this time, Lee. All right, hey, you are going to be green. All right, Lee. Lee wants 5 each. All right, so 5 each. 5, 9, 10, and 17. All right, Lee, you're set. All right, that's Lee Razor. Okay, now Lee Hook. Lee Hook, you are purple. All right, Lee, you want 20 chips on the second dozen. All right, 20 chips right there. Lee Hook. All right, so Stelly. All right, Stelly, you are going to be yellow. All right, you want 6 chips on third 12. 6 chips on black. So 6 chips on black. And 8 on even. All right, Stelly, we got you. All right, Big Day. All right, Big Day. You are going to be red. All right, you want $5 bets. All right, so let's see, where you at? Big Day, 5 on 13, 23, 000 split there, and 6. All right, Big Day, you're set. All right, James. James Lyon. All right, you are going to be black chips. All right, you want 10 on 8. All right, 10 on 8. 11 split. And 10 on 17, 20. Oh, okay. You want right there. 8, 11 split and 17, 20 split. All right, you got 10 and 10 right there, James. All right, let's see. You can get some rolls of coins, pennies. Yeah, Randall's trying to figure out how to get me some more colors in here. We're going to use pennies and dimes and nickels. Let's see. Spending Outlast Hit Wonder. About whoever wins pays the shipping. Well, we can try that. All on third. Okay, Trevor, we got you in here. So Trevor. All right, where'd Patty go? All right, Trevor wants all, and Trevor, you're going to be pink. I always try to save that for Patty, but she don't ever get in here. All right, all on third column. All right, Trevor, we got you set there. Lee Razor's got his fingers crossed. Says, if you have any left, I'll take 5 each on the splits around 17. Let's see. Did I already get you, Dad, of TikTok? No, I did not. Okay, got you now. All right, Dad of TikTok, you are white. All right. So what do you want? So if you have any left, I'll take 5 each on the splits around 17. Okay, so 5, 5, 5, and 5. All right, so Dad of TikTok, you're there. All right, that's everybody. So we have 9 participants in tonight's Last Spin One Hit Wonder. And again, we're playing for the chip. Whoever wins the chip. You got to send me your name, your address, and your screen name to roulettecruisin@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Make sure to hit that like button for me. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruisin'. Let's see who wins. I need like some suspenseful music. 21. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's clear everything out of the way. All right, so nobody was on the red. That's a loss there. All that's a loss. Loss there. All that, we know all that's a loss. Okay, this is a loss. So we got the black right there, or not, yeah, we got the yellow. That's a loss there because it's not enough to cover any of those. I think we've got a tie. We've got a tie this week. All right, so now last week I gave away 2 chips. This week I can't. All right, so this week, let's go with, so Lee Hook and Trevor. Pick red or black. One of you's got to pick one. Lee Hook, pick either red or black for me. Lee never wins. All right, so y'all pick something for me. All right, red or black. 2 weeks in a row. All right, Lee says he wants black. All right, so Lee is purple. He wants black. Trevor, you were the last one in. You're going to get red. All right, that sound fair? All right, here we go. We are spinning the second last spin one-hit wonder for the night. We got a spin-off between Lee Hook and Trevor. We got Lee and Trevor. Let's see who our winner's going to be for the chip. Everybody cross your fingers. At least 2 of you cross your fingers. Oh my gracious. Neither one of you won. All right. Well, ain't this a pickle? Not green. Good luck. All right. Let's do it again. We're going to keep them the same. We're going to keep them the same. All right. So here we go. We're going to let it go again. Now, this is the first time we've ever had this kind of nightmare on our last spin one-hit wonder. All right. So let's try it again. We got Lee and Trevor. Got to stay away from the greens. All right, winner is Trevor is our winner. All right, Trevor, shoot me an email to roulettecruisin@gmail.com and send me your name, your address, and your screen name so I know to send it to the right person. You are the winner for tonight's last spin one-hit wonder chip. And appreciated earlier with the $4.99 one-hit wonder spinoff. I do appreciate that. It's something new we're trying out to kind of help get some little bit of funding coming in to kind of help me with shipping on these things and stuff like that. But man, I sure do appreciate the support the channel has gotten over the past. It's been just over a year that really I've been running the channel. I do appreciate you guys' support. And let's see, anybody got anything? Have fun on your cruise. I'll be on Utopia next the 30th, and so I won't be here for next weekend. But anyway, hit that like button for me. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. 35 to 1 Roulette Cruisin'. And until next time, happy cruising. We'll see y'all. Bye.